Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. 90-Day Fiance's Julia Trubkina continues to mourn son after leaving America without Brandon. Julia Trubkina from 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After, recently shared an emotional experience of reuniting with her beloved dog, whom she affectionately referred to as her son. Originally from Russia, Julia moved to the United States to marry Brandon Gibbs. The couple has been married for nearly 5 years, but their relationship hasn't been perfect. They even underwent therapy to address their marital issues surrounding parenthood and relocating Julia's parents to the U.S. In the midst of navigating these challenges, they were devastated by the loss of their beloved dog, Simba, in May 2025. Despite being busy spending time with her family, Julia continues to hold on to memories of her beloved dog. She recently posted an Instagram story recounting a dream in which her dog, Simba, was still trying to protect her from a bear. In her message, Julia expressed, "Last night I saw you in my dream for the first time in a month and a half since you were gone. And even in my dream, you tried to protect me from a bear and I tried to protect you." It was a monumental change for Julia when she first moved to the United States from Russia. As a city girl and a go-go dancer, she was accustomed to a fast-paced urban lifestyle. However, Julia had to adjust to a very different way of life when she began living on Brandon's parents' farm in Virginia. Taking care of farm animals wasn't what she had anticipated for her American life. During those challenging times, she had her dog, Simba, with her as a loyal companion. Even when Brandon didn't always understand her, Julia found comfort in Simba's unconditional presence. Over the last 5 years, Julia cared for Simba as if he were her own son. However, his absence has left a deep void in her life, along with a great deal of maternal love. It's possible that Julia dreamed of protecting him because she lacked opportunities to express her affection and emotions in reality. She is still coming to terms with the loss of her dog, perhaps reflecting on what more she could have done to save him. In her dream, she may have felt guilty and helpless, believing she could have done more for him. In April 2025, Julia's dog began battling an illness that ultimately led to his passing in May. Even though more than a month has passed since she lost her beloved pet, her grief remains strong. To Julia, Simba wasn't just a pet, but a true friend with whom she shared a unique and deeply emotional bond. It isn't unusual for her to still dream about him after his passing. The 90-Day Fiancé, Happily Ever After cast member is slowly beginning to heal, with Brandon by her side to provide support and love. In the sprawling quiet of a new dawn, somewhere far from the green pastures of Dinwiddie, Virginia, Julia Trubkina wakes with a weight in her chest heavier than jet lag. She is back in Russia now, thousands of miles and an ocean away from the life she once tried to build in America, and more importantly, from the son she never carried, but loved as deeply as if she had. Fans of 90-Day Fiancé first met Julia as the fiery, no-nonsense Russian go-go dancer who packed her bags, dreams, and affections for Brandon Gibbs into a transcontinental suitcase, hoping that love would be enough. Through farm chores, family drama, cultural clashes, and reality TV spotlights, Julia's journey from Krasnodar to the rural farm life in Virginia was anything but smooth. But through it all, one unexpected relationship bloomed in the most tender and transformative way: her bond with Simba, a dog she came to call her son. Yes, a dog. To some, it may seem trivial, but to Julia, Simba was more than a pet. He was a thread of comfort woven through moments of loneliness. He was the calm amidst the chaos of adapting to a new world where everything from language to love seemed lost in translation. When she first arrived in the United States, animals weren't high on her priority list. In fact, Julia was initially overwhelmed by the number of pets on the family farm. But over time, Simba, with his soulful eyes and intuitive affection, became her quiet anchor. So when Julia made the heartbreaking decision to return to Russia without Brandon, the grief of leaving Simba behind was not a minor side effect, it was an open wound. "I feel like I left my heart in two places," she shared tearfully during a recent Instagram live, her voice cracking under the weight of words she couldn't quite find in English or Russian. "People think he is just a dog, but he is my son. He is family." Her relationship with Brandon has been a roller coaster, riddled with the kind of emotional highs and lows that only reality television can truly expose. While their chemistry was undeniable, their priorities began to diverge over time. Julia's longing for independence and adventure clashed with Brandon's deep roots in Virginia. While she dreamed of city lights, travel, and reinvention, Brandon remained tethered to the familiar fields and the steady rhythm of small-town life. Many fans speculated about a breakup when Julia began posting solo travel photos, often cryptic and tinged with melancholy. But it wasn't until she shared a somber black and white image of Simba, eyes wide with innocence and trust, that the reality set in. She was gone, and Simba had stayed. The caption simply read, "My sweet boy, I didn't get to say goodbye the way I wanted. I'll miss you forever. Always your mama." The internet responded with an outpouring of support. Fellow cast members, fans, and pet lovers around the world resonated with her pain. Grief, after all, doesn't follow rules or logic, especially not when it involves the unique, often underestimated bond between humans and their animals. To Julia, Simba had been her emotional translator, a being that didn't care about her accent, her confusion with American customs, or her struggles to feel at home. He only cared about her heart, and it beat in sync with his from the moment they connected. Leaving him behind wasn't a decision, it was a sacrifice, and one that continues to haunt her. Back in Russia, the streets feel colder. The laughter of her friends doesn't reach the part of her that still listens for the click of paws on hardwood floors. Julia has resumed some modeling and dancing, chasing the independence she once longed for in America, but her social media reflects a lingering ache. She posts these beautiful selfies, and you can tell she's trying to stay strong, one fan commented. But the light in her eyes is different now. There's grief hiding behind the lashes. In a recent YouTube vlog, Julia opened up further. "I didn't expect to miss him like this. With Brandon, we always argued about small things, but Simba, he never judged me, never made me feel like I didn't belong. I just want him to know I didn't leave him because I wanted to. I left because I had to figure out who I am again." Julia's honesty has struck a chord with many who have had to leave pets and pieces of themselves behind for love, for safety, for survival. In a world where emotional teas are too often dismissed or minimized, her open vulnerability is a quiet revolution. It forces viewers to re-examine what family means, and how deeply it can manifest, sometimes in fur-covered bodies and wagging tails. As for Brandon, he has remained relatively quiet. Sources close to the couple suggest they're still in communication, but no definitive news has emerged about the status of their marriage. Julia's departure doesn't appear to have been final in legal terms, but emotionally, it feels like a chapter has closed.